New York City real estate is so shady. And I knew this, but like we have to talk about this. And specifically with this apartment, I moved in here 2 years ago and it has been shady from day one. Day one. And it's still being shady. Melvin wants to say hi. Hello, Melvin. He got a bath today. He smells so good. Anyways, let's talk about this apartment. I'm like fuming still and I made a TikTok yesterday about it and I'm still like, I need to talk about it more. So we're gonna talk about it more. We're gonna start from the very top about how I got this apartment. Shady. Okay, so first of all, I've been looking for an apartment for 2.5 months and like, it's not easy to find an apartment in New York. Like it really is hard. So I saw this place online and I was like, oh my God, it's a dream. Like it's beautiful. I gotta go see it. So I emailed them and called them and they're like, okay, yeah, you can go see it. The tenant's showing it. I'm like, okay, great. But if you want the apartment, you have to give us $500 to like put a hold on it. And I was like, but I haven't even seen it yet. And he's like, doesn't matter. You have to put $500 down if you want to go see it because we have to put a hold on it. Blah, blah. And I was like, what? Like, so I called my friend who lives in the city who's like rented apartments before. And I was like, is this like legal? Should I do this? And she's like, well, some people do that, whatever. I called my mom, I called my dad. I was like, what do I do? And they're like, well, just put $500 down. What's the worst that happens? And I was like, well, I lose $500 if I don't go with the place. So I put $500 down and I came here and I saw it and I loved it. And then I applied and when I applied, he's like, okay, I have other applicants. And I was like, wait, I put the $500 down. He's like, yeah, they all put $500 down. I was like, so if I don't get this apartment, you're just taking my $500? He's like, well, we'll see. And I was like, we'll see. What do you mean? Anyways, I ended up getting the apartment. And once I got the apartment, they're like, okay, you need a guarantor. And I was like, okay, great. So my dad is a guarantor. And he's like, oh, well, your dad's in California, which is another state. He's acting like California is not in the United States. California is in the United States, okay? He's like, so you're going to have to put extra money down. So not only did I have to pay the $500 fee right off the bat, okay? They did take that off my rent, so it's fine, but I have to pay $500 fee. I had to pay $5,200 for the broker that I did not hire, that the company hired. He did nothing. Okay. $5,200. And then I paid my first month's rent, my last month's rent, and they wanted a third month's rent in a guarantor account. And I had to pay for this other insurance. So I'm literally, to move into this apartment, I had to pay almost $20,000. Almost $20,000. What? Literally insane. And then they made me hire this like bank account company. I don't remember what it's called, Rhino something. And that was $180 per year. And I tried to get out of it for this year. And my management company was like, no. I was like, do you get kickback from Rhino? They probably do. Very shady. Anyways, when I moved in this apartment, there were a couple things that were broken and it took them 2.5 months to fix them. There was an issue with when I first toured the apartment, there was a cabinet that was laid on the ground. And I said, before I move in, I want that fixed. They're like, okay, yeah, no problem, it'll be fixed. It was not fixed. It didn't get fixed until September and I moved in July. All they had to do was like screw it in, but they needed to buy a new bracket, whatever, whole big story. And then my dishwasher was out for 2 months and then they finally got me a new one. So it was fine, whatever. I have very noisy neighbors upstairs. There were just like a whole kind of host of issues with them. So I got that figured out. Not with the manager, obviously. Melvin wants to say hi again. Hello, Melvin. Hello. Okay, so then I've been fine for living here for like 1.5 years maybe. And when I went to go renew my lease, I was a day late doing it because I was traveling. And I had emailed them and I said, hey, I haven't gotten my renewal thing, whatever, like, but I want to renew. And he said, oh, it was mailed to you a month ago. And I was like, okay, well, I haven't been home. And he's like, okay, well, you missed the deadline. So we put the apartment on the market. And I was like, no. I missed the deadline. It was today, and I'm emailing you today. He's like, okay, well, we can pull it off the market. And I was like, okay, pull it off the market. So it was still on the market for like a couple weeks, and then they finally took it off the market, and like nobody was coming to see it. So nobody came and saw it, whatever. Then there was no issues. They put in laundry in the basement, whatever, great, love that. And then I bought an apartment, which I was very excited about. I'm still very excited about it. I bought the apartment and I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm probably gonna move in middle of April, so I don't wanna pay May and June because my lease is up June 30th. So I emailed them and I was like, hey, I wanna break my lease early. What is the process? What are the fees? Whatever. He's like, okay, it's gonna be a $350 fee for breaking your lease. Annoying. Fine, whatever. And then you have to find a tenant to take over your lease. I was like, okay, great, I can do that. So I found somebody to take over my lease. It was great. Like literally worked it all out. Like it was fantastic. So then on Monday, this Monday, it's currently Thursday. On Monday, I emailed my management company and I said, hey, here's my paperwork saying what date I'm leaving, which is April 30th. and here is the tenant that I have lined up. And once you give me the like application, I'll send it to them. I told him that I already had a tenant lined up. I literally had a tenant lined up that was going to qualify because like I knew the qualifications that you had to have to move in here. So he's like, okay, fine, whatever. He sends me the application. I send it to my friend. My friend literally fills it out and submits it within an hour. And I get a text message from this random number. And I'm like, what the hell? And it's a broker. And I'm literally freaking out because broker fees are really high, like really high. And I'm not paying them. Like I already paid $5,200 that I will never get back to move into here. Like that's crazy, you know? So I'm not paying it again. Anyways, so I get the text message from the broker and it says, blah, 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 I have a client that wants to come see it, blah, 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 long paragraph. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not hiring a broker, so I'm not paying you, so no. And he goes, no, the client's hired me, so you don't have to pay me. I was like, okay, what? So then I call my management company and I'm like, hey, like, not cool that you gave my number out. I'm really not happy about that. Can you please, moving forward, not give out my number because my number shouldn't be floating around because he doesn't know that I'm an influencer. He doesn't know any of that. I'm like, whatever. But like, I don't want people having my number. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I'm a single female girl. I'm just like, I don't want my number out there, you know? He's like, well, how do you expect me to get the apartment rented? I was like, I don't expect you to get the apartment rented because we literally talked about it and you said that I have to get the apartment rented. So I did. I found the person. I sent them to you. And he goes, well, you didn't tell me that. And I said his name. I said, my guy, I did tell you that. I have it in writing. Like I literally have it in writing multiple places. So he's like, okay, well, are you going to let the broker show? And I was like, well, do I legally have to? Because I don't think I should, because why is he coming in here when I already found you the next tenant? He's like, well, you already told him yes. And I was like, okay, well, I can take that back because I'm allowed to do whatever I want to do because this is still my apartment for the next 2 months. And he's like, okay, well, you're gonna let them see it or not? I was like, I don't know. Let me decide. So I hung up on him, whatever. And then he called me back. And I was in the middle of a meeting, so I didn't answer. And I called him back again. And he starts yelling at me right off the bat. He goes, I don't understand where all this animosity is coming from. And I said, listen, you're messing with my finances. I'm going to have animosity towards you. And I'm like, I didn't understand. You literally told me that I had to find a tenant, so I did. And now you're trying to charge me a broker's fee. Because on that phone call, by the way, he told me that I had to pay the broker's fee. And I was like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. So long story short, here's how it played out. So my friend put in her application. They were approved for it because they have all of the information right. They got their application in first. The broker came over to my apartment. And listen, I have mouse traps all over because I don't want to see a mouse. So I may have or may not have put those front and center. They were behind like things, and I just put them in front of the things so that they could be seen. So I didn't like clean up my apartment or anything. Like I did a little bit, but like not. I left it as it is, you know. And the broker came in and he is like, oh, this place is huge. It's great. It's great. And I was like, I know, I love it. Whatever. Meanwhile, I'm still thinking my friends are getting the apartment, right? So he's FaceTiming with an older couple and he's like, oh, they don't want to put their bed up there. They want to put it down here. She's like, do you think it'll fit? And I was like, no, because of the ladders. He's like, oh, they're going to remove the ladders. I was like, but what do you mean they're going to remove? There's not enough space. Like they don't want to go up there at all. And he goes, no, they don't. And I was like, this is not the right apartment for them. Whatever. I'm like, whatever. So they saw the couple was like talking, whatever, and I could hear them because it was on FaceTime. And they're like, oh my God, it comes with blinds. And I said, no, it does not come with blinds. I put those in. And I was like, I'd be willing to sell them to you though, if you get this apartment. Spoiler alert, they got the apartment. So he's like, as they're leaving, he's like, okay, my clients were already approved for the apartment. And I was like, at the time, I didn't know that my friends were approved for the apartment yet or not. And I was like, what the hell? And he goes, yeah, just get a certified check and send it to the management company. And I was like, what the heck? Like, that's what I did when the apartment was mine. So then he like leaves and he's outside and he gets a call from the management agent. The management agent had been dodging my friend's calls all day long, like screening his calls. So I'm hearing this conversation because I live on the ground floor, not the ground floor. I live on the first floor. So I can hear them out my window. So I'm hearing them talking and like I can hear both sides of the conversation and I'm getting pissed because I can hear that they are friends. So basically what it comes down to is my management company wanted to make sure this broker got paid because if this broker got paid, they're getting a kickback, which by the way, is illegal. That's illegal. Not allowed. So anyways, the couple got the apartment, not my friends, and I'm really pissed about it. And it's really frustrating because, oh, here's the kicker. I forgot to tell you the kicker. So I'm paying right now, I'll tell you guys what I'm paying in rent. I'm paying $29.50. When I first moved in, I was paying $28.95. They raised it $55, whatever. $45? $55. So I'm paying $29.50. When I'm not gonna say his name. Whoops. When the management company called me and told me what the apartment was going for next, so that I could tell my friends, he said it was going for $3,300. So they were raising the rent $350, which is crazy because they've done nothing to this apartment. And not only is the rent $3,300, which is $350 more than I'm paying, they outbid. They went in over asking, meaning they're paying $3,400 to live here. Let me just tell you, this apartment is not worth $3,400. I love this apartment with my whole heart. I love this apartment. It needs a lot of work. It needs a lot. Like if I was gonna buy this apartment, I would gut it. Like it would need a lot of work because the floors need to be not just resanded, but replaced. The floors need to be replaced in the living room, in the kitchen, and in the bathroom. There's cracks all over the place. Like it is not worth $3,400, especially if you're not gonna use the lofts. And they're like, this ladder is screwed into the ground and into up there. They're gonna remove it. I literally told the broker, because he's like, are these ladders movable? And I was like, well, this one is, like, it's not screwed into the wall. It used to be, but it's not anymore. But this one is screwed into the floor and to the walls. He's like, oh, they can remove that. You're gonna pay $3,400 just to live in the living room of this apartment? You're crazy. You're literally insane. Yes, this is a great location. I'm obsessed with this location. I'm obsessed with this apartment. If I had seen it on the market for $3,400, I would have never done it. When I first moved in, I got a good deal. I would have never paid $3,400. And I'm pissed because the managing agent is getting kicked back. So yeah, I'm mad. But it's fine. My friends are gonna find a better apartment, and that is on that. And just know that real estate in New York is shady. And it's okay because I'm moving into an apartment that I'm buying, and I'm never gonna have a landlord again, hopefully. Crossing my fingers. I had to get that off my chest, guys. Thanks for listening.